Hey, can I have your clicker? I'm sorry. This one's yours or is this one? You know when she steals stuff from me, she don't like to give it back. After I bought her one.
I think it's a third.
I didn't know you wanted it back.
No, but you damn sure got my case. Don't be talking about her. Cause, Ills, you've been trying to steal it for a minute. Yes, this one is still mine. Is she dead? No, she's not on.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
All right, so, am I in there? Yes. Hey, you guys, today I'm going to be giving you guys a presentation. Now, this will be a series of presentations, so this will be the first one. The first, so my project that I'm doing for my capstone is integrating AI into financial algebra. So we're leading instructional interventions, AI in financial algebra. The first thing I would like to start my PDs on talking about is understanding AI in a math classroom. So we'll just jump right into it, you guys. Now, in our classes, we all know that AI is something that is prevalent. It is new to the kids. How are you talking to your students about AI? Or are you talking to your students about AI?
So I talk to my students about AI.
How comfortable are you with it?
Fairly.
Fairly comfortable? And when you say comfortable, are you comfortable with just these right here? Or are you comfortable with more AI platforms that are geared towards our content?
Both.
Both, okay. So tell me, what makes you comfortable with this platform?
So I leverage AI to help, well, in my classroom, I try to leverage AI to increase student kind of understanding.
Student understanding. Okay, so from what I have learned or seen in my classroom when I give students AI, most of them already know a lot of the various platforms. But one thing that I noticed that my students started to do is that they treat AI as if it's a search engine.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is not what we have.
Right.
So one thing that I know is there is a big gap in what we think the students know and what they actually do know about AI. Here, a problem. Financial algebra. This is a problem for me. So here we're just working on basic compound interest. And what I do know is that this was a 9th grade standard for my students. Now I did go ahead and I took off the student's name, but one thing that I've noticed whenever I'm given an activity now is that the activity is very much detailed in how it's being given to them. But I've noticed to look that this isn't the way that I've actually taught you to do this problem. So I'm now asking questions on, okay, did you go look at Khan Academy videos? Like, did you have assistance? Like, something has to show this type of justification. Copying answers, that's, in my opinion, AI can actually explain to you how they got the answer versus them just giving you a solution. One thing that I noticed with my students is some of them knew how to do certain things instead of them saying, hey, can you check my work for any error or common mistakes as it based off of this? So we're going to get into, I taught my students how to prompt the AI system in usage versus just telling them what to actually do. But I did notice that when I started to show them how to use the AI system, they were a lot more confident. Now, their reasoning, they do not justify. They don't, that's something that's a continuing process. I would have loved to did this with a 9th grade class because like one of the biggest AI platforms that we use at South Atlanta for AI is Desmos. Knowing that Desmos can do pretty much anything you put in there, the kids don't know that. But this is an AI platform that they start working on early on. So one thing that, okay, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but back in September, APS actually banned ChatGPT. So when they went through and they banned it, how can you teach a kid how to properly use it if they have no access to it? So now we're looking for more so to not ban, but to structure. And how can AI actually support us in our classrooms? I'm so sorry for that. Purpose of this work. So the purpose of this work is really just to improve financial literacy. I need my students to know that, yes, sometimes you may not remember the monthly payment formula, but you know how to go in with your prompts to ask chat to make a non-biased decision or help you with this non-biased decision. So one thing that I've now started to do is every day we're going to use some sort of AI. If it's me having them look at a video, and I have the AI platform to actually take disaggregated notes for them. Getting their answers, my students now learn to take pictures and insert snippets for chat to help check their work. Things like that. And just to build like small, if you need an additional practice question, you can ask for it. But I'm now teaching them how chat can be used, or any other, the one that the Perplexity, that is the one that the kids have now fallen in love with. Perplexity has pretty much everything chat has, Gemini, all of these platforms, everything in one site. All right, so the design for this project, so I have to keep a lot of different things in mind. So I am doing what they call it's more so an exploration. And I'm going to take research, and I'm going to actually take in classroom work, mix them together, develop a PD to give to you guys. And I collect student data, teaching data, and all of these things I'm gearing to see how it supports my students in the classroom. Why this matters. Now, do I think that my students are going to remember how to calculate their interest in their monthly payments? You don't necessarily, they may not always necessarily remember how to do certain things, but they know which sites can help them do certain things. Needing more real world applications. Sometimes they need to see the variety of things, and I know that AI gives it to you really, really quickly. Honestly, as a teacher, I use AI just because when you're differentiating work, some kids need guided notes. Some students don't need guided notes. Some kids may need detail, like I have to put I use a lot of charts in my work where this line goes to this. So it's each step for them. Chat does all that for me. Now, what I also like that chat will do, it will actually explain to me where that student is going wrong. So it's easier for me to go in and catch those misconceptions, because now they're asking chat along the way, or Gemini, or Copilot, that's what we use right now here. All right, so some of the biggest focus that I know I hone in on for them to learn, and loans with interest, budget, mortgage calculations, financial decision making. Chat does them all for them, or Copilot does them all for them, but they have to actually be able to know how to prompt them. The next PD, I actually have a worksheet that we actually worked through, and I gave them key things to actually look for. Now, the focus for these sessions is to build teacher AI literacy. Honestly, I gotta tell you, I actually did this on my own. So we have access to Gemini and Copilot. I don't know which one I preferably like more, because in my opinion, they both do the same thing. So one thing that I had to explain to my students is, which one do you resonate with? Because some may have Google, some may have Microsoft. Myself, I have Chat. I had another student that brought up Perplexity, and that's when the kids started. That's one that, for whatever reason, don't know why, the school didn't ban Perplexity. But Perplexity has Gemini, has Copilot, it has Chat built into it. So it does the same thing. Now, when I'm modeling my AI, so you'll see it all around my room. When it comes down to my agenda board, I make it, Chat makes my my classroom agenda board kid friendly. It uses emojis. I didn't know they have a meeting, but the kids feel like they know the meeting, so they connect with it. I also use a lot of graphs to show they're like real graphs that moves data. So if this interest rate goes up, what happens to this mortgage payment? They can physically see what's actually taking place. Now, when we're analyzing student data, one thing that I am noticing is that more of my kids are getting the problems right now. So we get to step 4, Gordon, and I know that you experienced this with your college classes. A lot of times the kids don't know that chat work can be wrong, or co-pilot's work can be wrong. That's when they need to go back in. So like in that example that I gave you guys of that student's work, I'm gonna go back to it. She defended her work as I asked chat to give me step by step. But one thing that I noticed that my students struggle with is just moving the decimal. So I never showed them to convert the percent into the decimal. Why? That's a third grade, that's a second and third grade standard. So I don't wanna, mess you up by doing this. I just was like, okay, hey, instead of this, that's how I knew that she copied that from chat, is because they actually just used the percent. They didn't convert or do anything else. So when I was explaining it to her, and I did try to let her know, like, what she did tell me is that she did tell chat what is her principal. She did tell chat what is her rate, but chat converted this. So when I was explaining it to her, it will only do what you let it do. And so the kids did not understand when I told them the modern day AI that we had when we were in school was a regular calculator.
Yeah.
But they hear me tell them that the calculator is only gonna calculate whatever you put in it.
Yeah.
So if you don't know your orders of operations, the calculator doesn't do orders of operation. You gotta use parentheses to tell it. They don't understand that. So this was just an example that I wanted you guys to see that they did. Now, I'm okay with you defending your work. I just feel like when you defend, it needs to come with a pliable reasoning. You can't just say, oh, well, you allowed us to use chat and chat did the work for me. So I feel like I should give the grade to chat versus give the grade to you. So they just have to learn, but I really feel like we need to push out more AI training 9th grade, possibly 8th in middle school, for them to get acclimated, because this is our new future. So keep going past. Am I going back? Yes, I am. So challenges: scheduling, access, collecting data. Now, solutions, administrators. All right, so I'll just tell you guys some of my challenges. I did not know that APS was going. When I picked this topic, I did not know APS was going to block out a lot of our AI systems. So we had to go around some of those things. The way that we collect the data for her, I had to use, I used a lot of Google Forms and Mastery Connect.
Okay.
Now I did use a academic monitoring for aggressive monitoring, academic monitoring. I used a template that I created in Excel. And the template pretty much just gave kids check marks, and it based it off of the initial with them just using the calculator versus now them using the Desmos calculator. So you can see the shift in the grades. But hey, guess what, y'all? I gotta go have this same PD with our administrators. Why? None of them have taken an AI course. They don't know how to use it as well. So I'll go back and give them a lot of my findings. I know Mr. Braziel wanted me to give him my cheat sheet on how I list everything out, because he didn't know that the prompts needed to be detailed as possible. So, any questions, any answers, anything that you want me to elaborate on? Make sense? I try to get short PDs, something that did not take up a lot of time, because I know everything is going on. So how would you use some of the stuff? Like, if you know that the kids are using AI, how are you talking to them about academic integrity?
So I try to leverage it as...
I would just turn the camera a little bit so they'll know I'm not talking to myself.
As a kind of a tool to increase understanding a bit. So like when I use it, especially with some of my geometry students, or with students who I am, or my 2 students that I tutor, I just have them prompted to ask you, what are the steps you need to take in order to answer this question? Or, similar to what you do, looking at your work and see, where am I going wrong? or where they're, because sometimes even I can't always follow their work. So I ask them to look at it and see, and then chat and do an error analysis on their work, so chat can look at it and tell them where they're going.
So you do error analysis. Because what I have learned is that if I give them the problems where the issue is already into it, that they know, like I have to now show them how to look for the errors.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, like, I didn't know that was a big thing.
Yeah.
You are a teacher, correct? How long have you been out of the classroom?
17 years. I did 40 years and 3 months with Atlanta Public Schools.
40 years with Atlanta Public. Bless you, child. I'm gonna let y'all see the 40 years in the back. That is not me.
40 years and 3 months.
40 years and 3 months to the day. Okay, so how did you learn about chat? Or have you learned any AI platform? So do you feel like they've outsourced you out of the classroom because you can't do those things?
No, I don't think so, because I was reading what somebody was saying the other day that in 7 years AI is going to replace teachers, and the robots going to replace teachers in the classroom.
I can see it happening, but not as soon as they're expecting. Not 7 years. I'll give it possibly 17 years. I can see that happening. Just because right now, they're physically working on robots. Right now, what they have done is they've created a lot of programs that are self-driven, but that's for a specific student. And I think that is the biggest issue that we're going to encounter when it comes down to AI, is that there's still no human connection. So, and there has to be a human connection to get to buy in. One thing that I love with Gordon in her class that she does is that I know why she does it. She makes them derive everything. Because at some point, yes, the AI programs and all of these things can give you these numbers very quickly, but you need to understand where they're formulated
You
from.
have to understand, that's the same thing with reading. You can, if you don't, the lady who taught us how to teach reading put out National Merit Scholars in Nashville, and when she did all that, the Ford Foundation recruited the late Mildred Freeman to come to Atlanta to work at well. And she told us, kids need phonics. I don't care what nobody says, they need phonics. They need all that ties it together. They need listening skills. And when I go in these classrooms and see how far behind, it's not the children can't pass, they don't have the skills to pass it.
So I was explaining
They
to
don't have the skills.
my students that use Gemini. Gemini and chat both listens to you when you're not supposed to listen to you. That's how they're able to make everything resonate with you. Because it's listening to your conversations when it's not supposed to be listening to your conversations. So it can possibly hear me telling you these instructions, see you with your notes that you are already using within an AI platform, and it converts all those things through. So it can be a great thing to have, but it can also be a hindrance. And one of the biggest, okay, so this is one of the things that I tied to the activity. I asked the students how many of them have Ring or Nix. Ring now, and I didn't know this, Ring has a capability because they say they're trying to help people find their lost dogs. So if you're tracking my dog, that means that you have to be tracking me.
That's true.
Now, I had to explain to my students that chat also is now federally funded. So the government owns it. And if the government owns it, and if you're asking chat, how do I defraud the government by not giving them all of their tax money? Chat can actually show you, but now the government owns that chat program. So they see who's defrauding them and things like that. So I just want the kids to be very much mindful of this gift and curse that they've created for us and how we can use it.
Yep.
Is that good, everybody?
That's great.
All hearts and minds clear?
Yes.
Thank you for letting me participate.